Hi everybody, my name is Priscilla Hole and this is the new moon live reading for Sagittarius. It's just after 11 a.m. in Queensland, Australia, and so far no one's actually dialed in, but that's totally cool because it's a pretty intense time. And I normally would hold these calls on the day of the new moon and the full moon, but yesterday I attended the farewell ceremony, I think is the best way to describe it, for my very dear friend and teacher and mentor, Herman Mueller, who created the psychosomatic therapy modality. And also he worked with his wife to create the International College of Psychosomatic Therapy as well. And in terms of the energy at the moment with Sagittarius, it's normally a lot more outgoing and open and all the rest of it. But the reality for me today is that I'm feeling all of the emotions that I haven't actually probably felt leading up to his passing, which was on 12/12, and then of course the ceremony yesterday to farewell him in a much more public manner. But today it was interesting because what's come through for me is I've actually felt a lot of I've felt abandonment, which really has surprised me. I had a phone call with a friend. A few other little things started sort of moving through my thoughts, but during the phone call and then after the phone call, I started to go into all these things about, being left alone or being left behind. And then it took me a few minutes to realise that it's nothing to do with those people and the conversations or even Herman's passing, but the emotions of feeling that I've been left behind or that I've been left alone somehow. And so I've been sitting with that, and it's been quite powerful, and I've been allowing myself the time and the space, but of course with the commitment to be online and to do the call, it's like part of me goes, oh, get organised, get out of this. But in the same breath, I wanted to share with you how I'm feeling, because everyone has absolutely the divine right to feel what they're feeling, and that there's nothing wrong with how we feel. I went to a new moon ceremony last night, and it was almost like nothing I could do when it came to the movement section of the evening was comfortable. We were to work on our hands and our knees, and of course it just felt like I was kneeling on gravel, and it was so uncomfortable, even though I wasn't. It just felt like that. So it's like my body was uncomfortable and I was looking to make movement and change, and something's turned the corner today, and I've allowed the emotion to come through, and I've had a big cry, and I'm just allowing myself to feel this vulnerability. And that's why I'm sharing it with you, because it is a time of deep, deep change and transformation, and everyone is going to experience some kind of change and transformation in some form. And I can't tell you what that's going to be like for you, because I'm not in your skin. I'm in mine, and I'm learning to live in my skin. So the new moon with Sagittarius is normally quite an outgoing energy. I think I've mentioned that before. I think I mentioned also too in the intro for the event that it's a great time to sort of like start to expand your horizons, go traveling, do further education. That's what Sagittarius is all about. And new moon, of course, is a good time to commence something or to begin something. That being said, in the simplicity of levels of astrology, or the simpler levels of astrology, we have a Mercury retrograde. So technology is playing up, things aren't going the way we want them to, travel plays up. So we're being asked to slow down and reflect. And I, for one, am really grateful for the time I've had to reflect on Herman's passing. My mother passed a couple of years ago, so this is kind of another level of the people who have influenced me is starting to leave my sphere. And I'm deeply grateful for everything that they've taught me, and for everything that I have, who I have become as a result of having these people in my life. So I'm seeing this whole time as a chance to just let things happen as they're going to, and then allow myself to feel whatever it is I'm feeling, and doing my level best to not allow my mind to override what shouldn't be what's going on, and just trust that I'm going through the right process and the right levels of process at the right time. So it's nearly 10 past 11, so I'm going to draw a card and just see what comes through. I'll do a collective one for everybody, and then I'll do one for me. And if anybody else happens to join the call, they'll be lucky enough to get a card as well, and we'll see what happens and where this all leads. So I'll be drawing 2 cards today. So the card I'm going to draw for the collective is something that I don't know yet. Let me have a good look at what's coming through. Ha, you'll love this one, everybody. It's called patience. Wow, okay. Yes, change is coming and we are all living with it. And one of the things that's very challenging for us when it comes to standing in our truth and standing in our power and living in a truly sovereign way is to trust a process that is ours, and to trust that the timeliness of something can only happen when it's really ready to happen. You can't force a plant to grow faster. You can feed it well and it will grow well, but you can't pull on its on the leaves or on the shoots and expect that the roots would go deeper into the ground as a result of that. And that's one of the sayings that Osho uses. So in this context, we're being told patience is the only way to get through. And this is where there's this pregnant pause. Oh, I know that one. I am feeling pregnant in many ways. I've put on weight in a strange way, and I realise this is a collective call and it's not my card. There's a collective card, but what I'm saying is I get this really deeply because I have had my own stomach has started to swell a lot, and I'm feeling this sort of pregnant pause of waiting to move. And I guess this is a part of what's happened with Herman's passing, and knowing that there was a time that we had to wait for things to come to fruition, and to allow the gestation of a process, and patience is what is required before our next step can be taken. So there's the collective card, and it's like we're all being asked, just wait, trust that we're going to go through the phases of the moon and all the phases of a growth process, and that one day what it is that we're working on and where we're learning to be strong in ourselves will come out when it's ready, and we can stand in that strength, but don't push against it before it's ready, because it's only going to hurt you, which means it'll hurt me too if I try to push harder to make something happen. So that's the collective card for everybody. And I related quite deeply, as you gathered. I thought that was a good one. I think that's quite funny how that unfolds. And here's a card for me. And well, if you couldn't come across a more polar opposite card, I really don't know what it could potentially be. Yes, I can see that there is an intensity coming through. And for myself, it's a case of, well, just know that the intensity is going to feel like it's pushing at all my edges. And things are going to move faster and faster, and I recognize that, and part of me is probably a bit scared about that, because it means I have to step out of my comfort zone and step up to some things that I probably have been quite happy to ignore for a little while. And when I say a little while, it could be a couple of years. It's scary about that one. So yes, I've got this intensity coming through, and I'm feeling it, and I felt the emotion pushing up today, and the intensity of the emotion that came through, and I'm grateful that I had the space, and do have the space and the loving connection with my friends that allow me to go, not a good time to talk, because no matter what you say, I'm going to find something in it that's going to be probably confusing and wrong, and it's all my emotions pushing up to the surface. And so I have this space to allow that to move through, and I'm very grateful for that. So I'm going to leave it at this today. There's another call going to be for the full moon, which is going to be in Capricorn. Oh, no, when I say Capricorn, what I'm meaning there is going to be the full moon during the Capricorn month. And I got a mental block, and I'm not even going to try and remember what time or what's going to be the next full moon. It's I think it's Cancer. Better check that one. Hey, could be wrong, and that's possible too. I've been known to be wrong. I've got to own that as well. Okay, look, thank you very much, everybody. If you would like to join me on these calls, they're a lot of fun when you do actually get to join and come along. And yeah, and it's lovely sometimes when we've got lots of people on the call, because we all get to hear what's going on for everybody else, and we also can relate to those other cards, and they can be just as powerful as getting our own card drawn, and we can start to see a bigger picture. So I find it ironic to draw the patience card for the collective and go, we all have to sit in this and just wait, and then there's like that, I've got to push harder and go faster, and you know, for myself, and I can see the irony in all of that. I think that's quite gorgeous and highly amusing for me. So thank you very much, everybody. Deeply appreciate that you watch these videos, and any feedback you have, you are very welcome to join with comments or whatever, and also to join the calls. As I've mentioned, these are Zoom calls. A lot of people get confused. They're not live, Facebook Live. I've got to figure out that technology. Maybe there's a part of me that's avoiding that. Figure that one out. So thank you so much, everybody, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time for the full moon, which will be, I think it's Cancer, and I could be wrong. So I'll update that later. Thank you very much, everybody. Lots of love, and coming into the Christmas, New Year, and the New Year period and the holiday season. Wishing everybody all the very best, and that you take care of yourself, and that you nurture yourself, and don't do things that don't serve you. This is where we need to learn to stand in our power. Thank you very much, everyone. Take care. Bye.